Official streaming button here. All right,
I want to hit the unofficial streaming button.
We're up and running. I'm hitting a little.
I don't know what such a thing would be, but I'm into the idea.
I put a link
As am
on
I.
Blue Sky, and we've got Dominique's Curse.
That's my name.
I feel like it should have been called Dominique's Quest. That just. I might be inviting a lawsuit.
Doing the nuts.
Trivia 0.5, the Japanese title is something about a curse, not a quest.
Oh!
Okay.
That is true. It's
I
the
should have.
silver.
I should have known.
Oh,
Not that this game has any ties to a Japanese game.
That'd be silly.
Yeah, of course not.
so since now we are officially streaming, and for anybody who didn't get the notifications, if you're hearing a voice that sounds unfamiliar, we have. You want to say hi? Tom.
Hi, it's me, Tomm Hulett.
Hello. And what is
I
your
know that
relation to
voice.
today's game?
I directed this game.
Oh, dang.
So there we go.
And all the DLC content for the greater game that it's a part of,
Including Classic Mode 1,
including Classic Mode 1,
which is
and Boss
excellent.
Revenge mode, and Randomizer, and
That's a great randomizer, by the way. I wanted to bring that up.
Wait, there's
Thank
an
you.
official randomizer?
Yeah, it's a
great
great one, actually.
All right, I got to buy this game now, apparently. So, Tom, congratulations. You've made a sale.
We'll sail for a few more hours.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's quite
is it
cheap
on
right
sale
now.
right now? Nice.
Oh, so Tom, I don't know if you know this, but as an official backer from 5 years ago or something like that, technically I funded your ability to do this, just so you know.
My-
I'm not gonna lord it over
Bob
him or
exuding extreme my taxes pay your salary energy right now.
Yeah, Bob, come on.
There
You
was like
funded the
100 big
extremely-
boys keeping you going on that.
The extremely long-tailed stretch goal content.
Honestly, like, certainly by volume of good games created, easily the strongest Kickstarter I've ever backed.
Yeah, I can say that also with absolutely no caveats.
Honestly, I've backed plenty that produce good games, but I mean, this produced like 5, so.
I mean,
So
Oh, go on.
it's kind of funny when the people from Yacht Club used to work at Way Forward, obviously,
Mhm.
and they did Shovel Knight, and that had a lot of stretch goal content, and so I heard a lot of not gripes in a negative way, but like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do all this stuff? There's so much content now. Like once the reality hit, and so when Bloodstained was at the time it was the most successful video game Kickstarter, and I was not working on it at the time, and so I was looking at it like, man, whoever's doing that is going to have their work cut out for them. And then as development was near the end, they hired Way Forward to do the rest of the end of main development and all of that stretch goal stuff. So that was me. I was that guy.
At least you had the fourth.
Sure wouldn't want to be in that guy's shoes.
Famous last words.
Well, I mean, at least you, like, honestly, like, I'm a lot of times, like, it feels like sort of like, even to an outside observer, I'm sure internally it can be very difficult to work on this sort of thing, years and years into a project's life. But, like, externally, like, every time a new piece of Bloodstained content came out, it was always like, oh, this is really good.
Mhm.
So,
And up until now, it was all free.
yeah.
But this one's worth the money.
Mhm.
100%. I mean, I'm sure this gets thrown around a lot, but yeah, this is an entire game. Like, I have no problem saying that.
I only played Bloodstained recently, and I kind of love that, like, there's a town of trash mobs that you can just talk to. And they're all just like, little people. That's great. I love that. Wonderful.
And they distinctly tell you they never lie, so they must never lie.
No, obviously. Somebody
was-
telling me that they are very truthful. Always. It
A
sets off
noted
zero red
behavior
flags.
of our friend Skeleton here.
It's a
Hey,
here's
boy,
a
I'm not
trivia-
sure what you're trying to imply.
a trivia
You were saying,
bit.
Tom?
Yeah. You guys may know from interviews that Koji Igarashi is not a fan of the lying.
I was about to bring that up.
Again, in an unrelated Famicom game. And so
I think it might have been Getsu Fumaden.
similar. Da-da-da.
Somebody's curse.
But when we were pitching this, obviously the American side felt that it would be necessary to have lying NPCs because that
It's iconic.
no one would see without it. No one would connect it to an NES game. That's not good. So, we had to move out. Like, no, it's a gameplay mechanic. Like the player, it's a puzzle that the player can figure out, and I sort of had to prove that we could do that to Ika before he would be okay with it. Well,
Before he approved dishonesty.
Otherwise, people would just think it was a Holy Diver clone.
But yeah, so just something like that where it feels like a no-brainer to us. But it was kind of a sticking point.
So that's why in this game there is a tell. If you're paying attention, you can tell who's lying and when.
There's a couple tells.
The fact that they laugh in your face is a little bit of a gimme.
The text is also a vaguely different color.
That's right.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cool.
Yeah, but then obviously there's an item you can get later that then highlights the lie, and then you can kind of try to deduce what he's actually saying.
Interesting.
Which was the core idea that why I needed the mechanic, is I wanted that puzzle solving element of like, oh, okay, now. And then the other.
Now it's not just a prank on the player.
Yep. And then the other benefit here is you can actually see all the NPC dialogue again after you've seen it at any point. Whoop! There's the color change.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
That's cute.
So once you get the item, you don't need to backtrack and re-talk to everyone. You can just go to your menu and have it equipped and get to.
Yeah. Okay. That's like a really
Clever.
like neat way of making it like, you know, you feel clever solving it, but at the same time it never gets to the point where it's annoying. Like, oh, I gotta go back and like backtrack halfway across the map and double check with everyone. That's
the hope.
And
That's great.
And it definitely reinforces, like, literally from square one here, Dominique is not welcome. Like, it's one thing when a Belmont gets lied to, but this is like, what is a human being doing here?
Excuse you, the canon says they don't like the Belmonts either.
Fair.
But that's an unrelated game, so I don't know why you brought it up.
Yeah, like why
I
are you
don't know.
talking about the Belmonts, Gogglebot?
I'm sorry.
This has nothing to do with Castlevania.
I've been playing a lot of Vampire Survivors recently, okay? I'm sorry, it just happened to be in my head.
Another game not at all inspired by the same.
Yeah.
Man,
be silly.
when the Contra content came out, that was so funny to me. It was like, finally, an official Konami tie into Vampire Survivor, and it's exactly what you think. Contra.
That was an incredible meta joke. I loved that.
And the fact that the last unlock of that was Simondo from
Yes.
from Hardcore.
Genuinely beautiful.
And the townspeople being actual demons that you actually fight was another early idea that made this make sense to me. Instead of people that go away and get replaced by monsters, since you're in limbo, it can just be the actual people that would normally talk to you.
Yes, they sort of go feral at night.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they make a comment to the degree of like, oh, everybody has like a bad time during the red moon or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they just start trying to kill
Tragically
you.
sundowning.
Darkness
Also, just a
Throat.
clever excuse to reuse to not have to make an incredible amount of new models.
Which, yes, that was part of the sales pitch, is how much mileage can we get. And actually, a lot of the environment art's new, so...
Yeah, it allows
No
you to
one should think we
strategically
didn't-
reuse things and get the most out of the existing art budget.
When I played this, it had been a long time since I'd played the main game, so I actually didn't realize how much of the environmental art is all new.
Yeah, exactly the same here too. Because I played this all new and excited, and then I went back and played original Bloodstained, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like a whole lot of new.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like, just got nothing for this guy.
You might be in trouble.
Yeah.
Can't cheat this one, Bob.
Not even so much as an easy mode. Come on.
Where's the rewind button?
Everybody chiding me for streams past.
Okay, like
And
Goggle Bob,
future.
that implies that you feel like your sins are venial, forgivable. No, they're all mortal sins.
I will note that it's harder to be on stream and talking, and so I need little help.
True, and that's why we all must suffer.
And yet, every week, here we are.
Yeah. Also, Jeannie says hi, and we all miss her.
Aw.
Hi, Janie.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, there wasn't even an excuse. You just walked into that.
Look, I'm still shaken from my encounter with the Lion Man. All right.
That usually makes you run from the Lion Man, not just try to mash your face into it.
Disgusting. Goggle Bob, why would you do that? We're all very upset
These
with
guys
you.
aren't even skeletons. They're just what's the official Bloodstained thing? They're like mucks or something.
Mort.
Morts. Thank you.
Oh, I get it.
That's a great name.
That's clever. I appreciate this.
Latin.
All right, I literally,
Morts.
I did not realize that Bloodstained was not already in my Steam library. I beat it on Xbox Game Pass for the 3 months I had that, which was enough times.
I think it'll run you like a fiber right now.
Currently, it's only $5. Yeah, so now is the time to get it. Our
Yeah,
many
I don't
viewers.
know that I have it on Steam, so I might do that.
Look at us all advertising like we're corporately sponsored or something.
There's actually 10 people watching. Oh my goodness, who advertised this?
I linked it a couple places. I was
Break
really
Also, I like
In-
Brakeman's statement,
Okay.
presumably about Vampire Survivors. When the Castlevania DLC was announced, I was mostly excited, but also a little disappointed that it wasn't like Gradius, just to continue the joke.
That would have been great.
I go for some Goemon content.
Oh, man.
I'd have
that would
lost
be
my
perfect.
mind. Especially if it had just like some sort of like nice instrumental version of I Am Impact, or hopefully a vocal version of I Am Impact playing in the background as an option.
All right, I want to say something about the background, and yes, I know it's the most unimportant thing you can possibly say about anything, but
No,
I
that's
really love the that the McCloud texture is very obviously flat and coming from a set point on the horizon. It reminds me a lot of a game that I just can't quite remember the title of. It was a DS or Game Boy game. Yep, the title's just gone. But I really, really love that little piece of visual flair. It's very striking.
Probably
Speaks to me
going
about
wrong.
No, wait, I got it. It was 8 Eyes.
Oh yes, of course. 8 Eyes.
Oh, 8 Eyes.
How could I forget? No, it's like this game has, for the most part, very pretty, very modern-looking graphics. I do just love what I assume to be an intentional throwback like that. I don't know if that's actually intentional or not. Tom, can you confirm tonight?
I would never assume anything in this was unintentional.
There's intentional things.
Okay,
I can say
This kinda happened.
in classic mode 1, when you climb the staircase to the final boss, you can see stage 3 in the background.
Oh,
That was
hell
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
It's
It's like a
beautiful.
poem, it rhymes.
I'm not used to like the character that you're playing having actual high heels visually.
Doesn't she have them like in the main game? That's the only one I've played, and I don't remember her model very well.
She's like the sexy nun.
You can guess from the phrase "sexy nun."
But you know, if you look carefully, Alucard wears high heels as well in that
That's
unrelated
true,
game.
he does. But I don't know why you're talking about Castlevania. I mean, as stated, this has nothing to do with that.
Give Dominic a way to be exactly 1 pixel taller.
Bigger boots.
Good little lifts.
I like that. Calling out again the game that this isn't connected to when we're fighting the knights. The most direct reference.
No, we're busy talking only about minutia.
You know,
like,
I think I had a whole thing prepared
if you
about
do
how
want to
much.
point something out, Tom, please tell me to shut up, and I will shut up. Promise.
Hand it out.
That is like the strongest promise that Beat can ever make.
I'm going to just say that I had a whole like little mental speech prepared about how much I played. Let's just call it Byman's Quest as a child.
Bimby's Quest?
Bimbo.
Bimby's Quest. Oh, yes, of course. Classic game, Blimbo's Quest.
I think that came out on the Spectrum.
You're thinking
yes,
of Scribbo's
yes.
Adventure.
No. You're getting me mixed up, Gogglebob.
Isn't Blimpy's the hoagie place?
Excuse
no,
you,
it's-
Blomby's Quest.
It's the bread company.
It's for the Famicorn desk system.
Yes, of course.
It was also ported to the Dendy.
Blimpy's Crust.
Thank you.
Now I want a sandwich.
None of this
No,
means
we're-
anything to me.
We're coming up on the most important tie-in to Blimpy's Crust.
Okay, awesome.
I actually said, so I designed the first town, the first map, the deserty thing you went to on the right of town, and the first 2 dungeons. And I actually sent this one to Jeremy Parrish to confirm it was authentic enough. You Blimpy's
That is the
Crust.
guy to ask.
'Cause he was just starting off on his mapping quest. Let's see, we're almost there. Almost there. One more block up. Okay, see the wall on the upper right? How it's missing a unit of brick?
Yeah.
That's 100% Blimpy's Crust.
It's
That's
true.
the detail right there. This
That's beautiful.
Missing block for no reason. There
You
you
see
go.
things like that?
Dang.
I
his
feel
comment-
like
I think his comment it was Blimpy's AF. So
Stream Blimpy.
Take a moment to take in that block before we leave. Or lack of block.
There's a solo indie developer named Aria who makes some cool games. And a while back, she posted that these days people know how to make video games, and that's why they're not as good.
oh,
Wow.
damn shots
I can
fired.
see where it comes from. I can see where it comes from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like one of those "you're not wrong" statements.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for the period that most of us grew up in, where almost every video game was at least in part working from the notion of, oh, I've never seen someone do this before.
Gotta get that candle, damn
Close
it.
it.
A lot of experimentation and a lot of experiments that were promising but maybe not entirely successful were never followed up on. Like Blimpy's Crest.
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna
that's
say
the
that-
thing, is that quest was definitely something I enjoyed as a child. And even when, like, I'm trying to think of a way to say Sympathy of the Night, but it's not happening. Sympathy of the Night, there we go. Even when Sympathy of the Night revisited that concept, it was very much a different thing. And this and, like, one other game I feel have ever recaptured it. Which was
I'm
that
not gonna say the pitch for this game didn't end with "but good."
I would imagine.
Dominique does have a
just-
backdash, right?
Not at this
you have
point,
to purchase
right?
it in the first town.
Oh,
Yeah,
you have to purchase it? Okay.
I
Yeah,
haven't,
if you don't-
I
if you
haven't
don't-
earned it quite yet.
I was going to scold
that's
Gogglebob for not
absolutely-
using it, but fair
You can't
enough.
have it. You didn't.
Yeah,
earn
no,
it.
believe me, I was trying every button
Gogglebob
combination
as
thinking it might be
a-
there.
As a nefarious vagabond and criminal, has not earned it.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't do the bug. I thought Gogglebob was trying to expose the one embarrassing bug that I can't get rid of.
Oh,
I really
Sometimes
hope.
when you respawn here, the camera's in this boss room, not where Dominique is.
Well, that's no good.
It's so bad.
okay. I have purchased a Steam copy and some DLC and classic mode too.
Really?
Yay!
Hey,
A lot of fun.
You can play in a Shantae costume.
Oh man, even better.
Yeah, my replay was entirely Shantae costume based, just for absolutely no reason.
Which one? Does this? I guess this is technically a DLC. That's basically a full standalone game. Does this also have the Shantae costume?
No, Dominique does
no,
not get the
No, that
dress
would
up.
be illegal.
Dominique has her personal style.
Kill.
I feel like Dominique would be more likely to dress up as Risky anyway.
I mean, she is technically a bad guy.
I was
guess.
about to say it would be hilarious if all during the main game where her eventual heel turn is not revealed if she was just dressed as like Bowser or something. Like, oh, what could be
Listen,
going
don't
on
judge.
here? Okay, so Tom, I have to ask. I will say that every, I'm going to just say manor upgrade that you get, I found amazingly useful, except for this. Like, what's its problem?
Oh, you gotta double tap. You hit a guy with the accelerator, then you whip him, and it does extra damage.
It's like a more obvious version of the extra bit of damage or extra bit of range on the whip by holding forward in a different game.
Well, you mean Classic 1.
Oh yeah, it's Classic 1.
Yes, exactly. Classic 1.
So if you do that and whip him, it'll kill him, and then if you kill an enemy with the hit, it fires a little fireball, which is a more adventurous way to kill them.
Classic.
Anyone follow that?
Adventure.
Oh, I got it.
Very good. Very good.
A more the adventurous way? I don't know. No one.
A joke reborn.
But yeah, it's literally a different way of doing that extra hit from Classic 1. That's the exact conversation that led to it.
Interesting.
I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I was just spitballing.
Well, now you know in
Yeah.
Classic 1 you can send the
Yeah.
whip.
I can't
I'm
remember if
learning
like
so much.
these guys. It's the guy Gogglebob is trying to kill right now.
The Morts?
The Morts, yeah. If they had that like really like cartoon like flailing animation in Vanilla Bloodstained, but I really like it. It's just such a great touch.
There's
just-
one.
Losing their
There's a-
minds.
There's a version of them with it. I think it has a different name, and it's escaping me because that was years ago. I'm sorry, everybody.
Kone.
I can't
but for-
believe that you have not committed the last half decade of video game development to exact
But
memory.
oh, there we go. We got to look at that block again. This is the Jungle Cruise moment.
Yeah,
Here
look-
it is again.
Appreciate the block, Gogglebob.
I had to move quickly.
But for the Classic 1, for the basic Mort, we used the arms up because it evoked something from a different game.
Yeah.
To have it up, and so that just carried over into this game because it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's very
That
funny.
game that it evoked was Donkey Kong, King of Swing.
Of course. I will say I think it's very funny that we are all like so dedicated to avoiding naming the game. When I played a Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, I just called it Jet Set Radio 3.
Well, that game is shameless.
Yeah.
Very derivative. Nothing like
Well, there we
that.
go. There he is. That's the one.
There he goes.
It is
Like-
interesting how the perspective of a creator can differ from the perspective of consumers of art, and how different things can stick out and seem more important depending on which side of the equation you're on. Which
I
is
like
to say,
that.
I was not expecting to have the director on and for him to keep telling us to look at this one block.
It's an important block.
It's a very cool block. Gishi, do you not think the block is cool as hell?
I didn't before, but now I realize how wrong I was.
Okay, good. I'm glad
You've
we're on the
learned.
same page.
Sounds like a convenient bit that we
I'll be right
revisited it twice, but it's not a bit.
The emphasis on the block.
I'm watching this game with such rapt attention, I'm only just now getting to my burrito.
Wow.
Please.
Must be a good game.
Please do not play
Danger.
Bloodstained to the point that you forget to eat food.
Getting to write multiple day-night cycle quotes was a highlight.
There's some really good ones in there.
I mean,
And
yeah,
just having a variety at all is nice.
I mean,
Yeah,
unrelated.
it's
Unrelated. I did localize a Castlevania game once. And,
I remember.
And there was a Simon's Quest. Have you guys heard of Simon's Quest?
Oh man, once or
I worked-
twice. These
Cool.
had
I
mean
worked-
things to say about it.
I worked the day-night cycle quote into an unrelated part of Bloodstained. That's not what I'm talking about. A Word of Ecclesia.
Yeah.
as you're entering the
the more it's
castle,
fun.
if memory serves.
Yeah. So it was
Come to
fun
vanquish the
it was-
horrible night.
It was fun to think about that stuff again.
Yeah.
A graveyard. A dead end.
As unrelated things go from other companies, I will say that I will always appreciate when I finished a game that you had been a part of the team on and tracked down your instant messenger handle that you had on a forum. And you were very gracious to me as I was just talking about how much I liked it. I don't know. It meant a lot to me. Thank you.
I'm just happy people play my games. It meant a lot to me.
Nice
Did
to
you
meet
say
you.
that?
I
Did
don't
you
have
say
it
that the verb
specifically. Oh, sorry.
you
go on, please.
performed sorry, at the wall? Would you say the verb you performed was a graveyard duck?
Well,
my gosh.
Oh,
I would say
true.
what it is exactly is that I was told, what is it? Pull up the NPC. At the far end of Tartarus, stretch up real tall to reach the crypt below. And
Well,
so
that
since that
probably
demon
must
was clearly lying, the opposite of stretching up real tall is ducking.
It's like you solved a puzzle.
Yay!
aren't you
Hey.
clever?
And you got omu rice.
Yes, I want to talk about the fact that the specific food item you get as a reward for that side quest is omu rice. Were you involved with
Mhm.
that
Oh, yeah.
decision?
Yes. So as you guys know, maybe, well, Kishi knows for sure. Shitaro Ida, the director of Bloodstained, goes by Curry the Kid
Yeah.
as his credit, and so there's lots of Curry jokes that he puts in his games.
That is.
And
really
I was
cool.
trying to work in a joke in this one. So in Classic 1, you get Curry as your health pickup. And I put Tonkatsu as Dominique's because I thought there would be a funny Tonkatsu joke that we could kind of get going. And he said Dominique would not eat Tonkatsu, she would eat sweets.
Oh gosh.
So, her pickup is cake instead. But omu rice was kind of part of that whole decision.
Yes, it's not sweet, but omu rice is considered like comfort food, like something someone with a child's palate would like.
That's
And,
really
Clever compromise.
that's really great. Like establishing character moments.
I mean, it's let me tell you what my
Exactly.
OC eats.
I do love just
So,
the idea of getting the rejection back. She would not eat tonkatsu.
And so I should point out, Ida-san had to step away from development right now to undergo cancer treatment. So there is a hashtag Strength for Shutaro on social media if anybody wants to let him know how much they appreciate his work
Oh,
on
yeah.
all the Idavanias and Bloodstains.
Yes, Igarashi produced all those games, but I believe Curry the Kid directed a lot of them.
Yes, since I don't know since which one. Maybe
I can't-
Harmony.
I can't
Maybe
cite
Harmony.
specific credits, but I would often see that name in the credits of various games. Curry the Kid.
That I've never met. I've never met Curry the Kid. I've met Iga a couple of times at conventions. But
That's
oh yeah, this is just an excuse to dive into my one really good meeting someone at a convention story,
Make it quick.
which was,
You have a
What's
couple
that?
of those now.
I suppose, but this is my favorite because he was doing a signing of like stuff in the wake of like Bloodstained's Kickstarter.
Igarashi.
Yeah, Igarashi at PAX, and I wanted to bring something that I didn't think he'd see a lot of, and so I brought a copy of Nanobreaker, the PS2 game that he produced.
Like
that
between the
was-
two PS2 Castlevania games.
Yeah, there was another thing that was like seemingly just built off the same technology, and it was, as his interpreter put it, the most English he heard him speak all weekend, because he saw it and said, "Ah, Nanobreaker, you are a good gamer."
That rules.
Did he emphasize the word good like that? Like you're not a bad gamer.
Yeah, no, it's very specifically, you are a good gamer.
As opposed to all these bad or neutral gamers.
They're just okay, gamer.
How dare you name drop my YouTube channel?
The barely adequate gamer. The acceptable, I guess, if you're going for that gamer. No,
The
that was a
dollar
bit
store
clunky.
gamer.
That was a bit clunky. We should workshop that one. I do
That's
love,
Blomby.
like in the town segment, just the number of vampiric bunny girls just wandering around. That's
Sure.
great.
You know,
I mean, naturally, Succupi would hang out in a town, like, you know, they're
And I haven't
they're a
checked
social animal.
They need food too.
Yeah.
There might not have been that many anthropomorphic enemies to choose from.
That's true.
I mean, I would talk to him more. I'm not gonna lie.
You're talking to one right now.
Pum pum pum.
Can't see, but he's wiggling his hands around.
Burrito is flying everywhere.
I just really love. That's what it reminds me of Kermit the Frog. It's a Kermit the Frog flail.
Mm.
It's great. Fantastic.
So wait, are we implying that Muppets are dead, or Morts are dead Muppets? Because I'm not okay with that as a theory.
No, we are not implying that. We are simply implying that the Morts are huge fans of internationally famous celebrity Kermit the Frog.
It's time
And
to
his
play
flail.
the music.
Oh, no, that did not work. Bad giant
our
mosquito.
programmer's very
Man, this is
happy.
making me excited to play this again.
It,
The
it,
programmer was very happy with those bugs because the crow pattern in, again, a game that no one's played is very, very weird and hard to predict, and he nailed it. So every time we watch a playthrough and someone gets murdered by one of those bugs, he gets happy.
I felt that when I played, that you really have to watch those things.
Yes, Ninja Gaiden.
And how nice
Oh,
that a
yeah,
programmer would like to
Yeah,
see a
Ninja
bug.
Gaiden. You've all played Ninja Gaiden.
stupid birds.
It's not often that programmers are proud of their bugs.
Okay,
Good.
are you throwing
it.
a bone there as your sub weapon?
Yes, I picked up a bone.
I am
At the
torn
town.
between saying that rules and how dare you disrespect skeletons.
I mean, are all bones guaranteed to be parts of skeletons? Like, I don't know.
Yes?
I
Like
mean,
it's-
yeah,
it's-
probably.
It's like, I feel like there's a few loose bones out
Where
there.
else do they come from? Bob, you're
Dogs?
thinking of rocks.
Yuzu Yeehaw in the chat points out
Jeez.
that of course Muppets have to die. How else would Screws' business partners tell them about hell?
Very true.
Tis the
You know
season.
what? Yuzu makes a good point.
Yeah, no, they're on to something.
I'm not okay with the phrase, of course Muppets have to die, but I understand now.
Yes,
Have
they
you
deserve
not
to die, and
seen
I hope
Muppet
they burn in
Christmas
hell.
Here comes Mr. Asshole.
It makes
Here
that
comes
perfect
Mr. Bitch.
sense. It makes perfect sense that Waldorf and Statler would go to hell when they die. Who's that?
Caliscrope.
Allie's
Ah,
around,
Caliscrub. Good to see you.
but he's muted.
Hear from you.
Oh, he's unmuted.
He's always muted. We're just
Say
that's just
something.
normal.
That's not true. That hasn't happened for a while.
But it's still a good
Has it
running
though?
gag.
It has been a minute.
All right. Made it through that area before the red moon bell.
It is nice that
Everybody
you can
dies
see
there.
the timer, letting you know how much time you
Yeah,
have
what-
left in that phase.
What does the timer signify?
When it turns, then the moon turns, or it basically becomes night.
What if it
Oh.
fills in?
You will suffer the curse of the moon.
Oh,
Oh,
well
It's a
done.
related game.
Yeah, we're allowed to say that title.
Yeah.
The sequel introducing to the canon a large mech piloted by a small dog.
I do have to say I'm disappointed that Corgi does not show up in more media, just in general. Doesn't even have to be Bloodstained.
I'm sure he'll be in 2.
No.
Wait, is this a DLC or is this like a 4th game?
Both?
Yes!
Yes.
We all
Yes,
agree.
It is also currently on sale if you don't already own it.
Yeah,
It's a
so
fifth
you should
game.
buy it right now. Give your money to what's the name
Your
of the company?
money to criminals.
No. How dare you imply that?
No, I'm just saying, you know exactly what I'm referencing.
Yes, I know, but nobody else does. We are the
I
only.
do recommend buying stolen AirPods. Okay.
You lost me.
I
That's
have at
okay.
times purchased stolen AirPods from, let's say, drug addiction enthusiasts.
It is a YouTube
Yuck,
channel
no.
called Warlocracy. It's good.
Is this
Oh,
the,
so Tom, question. At what point was it determined that there was going to be basically 2 different kinds of currency?
Oh, it's an interesting trivia bit. I think we're past 7. I had my level designers examine Blimpy's crust to kind of figure out just any intricacies, and one of them, Nick Najum, who worked on the last Spider-Man game.
Oh.
Oh,
Nice. Not with Way Forward. He
Yeah.
left. But he kind of figured out that in the earlier game, there was like the hidden experience meter, which gives you health, and then there's the currency, which you purchase things with. And so we thought about it as a, what do you lose when you die? What does that detract from? And how does that affect the player? And so we figured out the monster parts can give you more health and more magic. So they're serving the role of experience. And so you don't lose those when you die. But you can convert them into money and then buy weapons and whip power-ups and things with them. But then if you cash out too early and you die, you lose money.
So
it just felt like
interesting.
an
yeah, that's pretty
interesting way to reinterpret the old weird invisible experience into something where you're still fighting enemies to get it, but you're kind of managing it in a more interesting way and choosing how it benefits you.
Yeah, you're getting a lot more of an individual idea of what to be doing.
And also, it's
Right.
just plain more opaque, because I can definitely say I played Blimpy's Quest a number of times and could not immediately tell you there's an experience system.
Blimpy's Crust, get it right.
My bad.
Yeah.
I'm not a
And
true
then,
gamer.
Since we're on the topic of buying things, you'll also notice the whip power-up is borrowed from Shantae. Shantae's hair has a
Yes.
I think it's a speed and a power. There's 2 separate power-ups.
Yeah.
Whether do you want to whip harder or do you want to whip faster? And so we used that for range and power in this game.
That's pretty cool.
Clever.
I've always liked Shantae. Despite the fact that it is definitely the most plausibly deniably horny game ever conceived.
Just wait till we get Mapos on here.
Oh God.
That'll be for the Shantae Advanced playthrough.
Wait, if this is Classic 2, is there a Classic 1?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was free
Obviously.
DLC.
It's more, as you would expect, more straightforward.
Okay,
There's
so
a-
that's not like that comes with the game.
Yeah, that is free DLC.
Yeah.
Classic
I have
2
not-
is a
I
separate
have
purchase.
not played Bloodstained since I last hacked my PS4, which is like 4 years ago or something like
Sounds like someone's due for some replans.
Yeah.
Classic 1 is neat. There's a map between stages that your character walks in front of.
That
People
is
seem to like
really
that.
cool. I love
I
I
touches
think I've seen
like
games
that.
do that before, but I can't play them.
If the main difficulty is too easy, there's a code you can enter on the title screen. I don't know what it is, but maybe you can figure it out. And it will make the jumping less forgiving, and you can't jump on and off stairs, and Miriam will be brown.
Cute.
Again, I don't know why, but you could try that out too.
Also, I will state plainly that this is my favorite room in this game. I enjoy that this is like a masterclass on do you understand how Dominique jumps and moves.
And they
It's a
move
very-
to the music. They move to the music.
I
That's
mean-
beautiful.
Oh, that's
and
so
I kill
good.
myself.
I can't hear it because of the stream, but I'm looking forward to hearing it when I finally fucking play this.
Well,
Nice job, dipshit.
oh,
It's like I love this place, donk.
You really must not
So-
understand how Dominique jumps.
I really like. Okay, there are a ton of like little touches in this game that like I absolutely love, but I think my favorite is how pixelated all of the on-screen text is. It's really nailing that whole. It's the NES, and we have exactly 8 pixels to work with, so you better make them count. Aesthetic. It's great. I love it.
I mean, I like the sub menu because it's all black for no reason.
That too. All of it. It's-
Designing. That
There's
was
so
really
much
fun.
like consideration put into everything, and that rules.
But I mentioned earlier that I designed this dungeon, and the reason is the composer of Brave Wave turned in the music, and this is the greatest song in the game. And I said I'm going to design the level that this music goes to because I have to. So
That's beautiful.
that's how we got this clock tower.
I mean,
I suppose by
if you're gonna
virtue
pull
of
rank,
having
you might as well pull it for that.
Yeah.
by virtue of having my favorite room, I guess this is my favorite level too. It's like that must be how that works, right?
Yeah.
Transitive properties.
Varies so much
There's
whether the
also-
music comes first or if the music was composed to the game. So it's really cool to know that this whole level was designed with that music in mind already.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing like you don't often get like a glimpse into the inner workings of. So I'm really glad you're here, Tom, to tell us these things. It's really cool.
Yeah. I'm here for trivia.
Now, I want to ask: is that common, like where you have the music before you have the level, or is it more frequent where the musician is told, we want to make a level with this sort of theme, make a theme for it? What's the over under on that?
It's not usually the way this game was because we were doing this in a compressed schedule. We had content from the main game, and we knew what the game mechanics were and things. So we were getting the composers early on, and they knew what the gameplay was like. Again, somehow. And so being able to compose music to know how the game felt that early was kind of unique.
That's
Uh-huh.
really cool.
But yeah, with other games that I've worked on, like Contra and things, there's usually some amount of level done that you can send the composer or send them video, so they can get the pacing of the game. Or
Okay, so we're going to be shooting these giant bugs.
some composers like to have no like game footage and just work from ideas, and then others like to see as much of the game as possible.
I'm reminded of
Depends on
a reminded of a video that circulated on the old PlayStation Underground discs where they were showing the composer of the Spyro the Dragon's games trying desperately to successfully play through the levels and just failing miserably, but refusing to compose anything for them until he had finished a level.
That's dedication right there.
I believe it was in the Sonic Encyclopedia, but apparently the super easy level select code for Sonic the Hedgehog 1 was so that the composer could easily play the levels that he had composed for. He would
That
pair-
is hilarious.
Uncle
Like-
Bob,
Yes.
don't you mean the Sonic Encyclopedia?
My apologies.
You could take it out all day.
We let you get away with so much, and frankly, I'm appalled.
Encyclopedia.
This spear guy is giving me problems, and it's because I forgot I had that one move.
From the makers of Sonic Spinball from USA.
Is Quictionary a thing?
It should be.
It should be.
That's what they're saving for Sonic 2.
Greetings, AV.
Are we allowed to have Contra anecdotes?
We
Yes.
are.
Okay.
In fact,
you.
they are encouraged.
You
You
know,
guys
if you
play
got
Konami
anything
games?
for Spidersaurus, go nuts.
The
Oh,
the boss music
Guys.
in Operation Beluga was composed by Hibina-san from Bayonetta, Metal Gear, etc.
Oh, that's awesome.
that rules.
Nice.
And so he didn't have visual aids. He just likes to compose, and so he knew the final boss of that game was a giant alien, but he chose to make a Godzilla-themed final boss track
Oh gosh.
that just sounded incredible, and so that also inspired the boss design a little bit. Like, I had a vague idea, but when I heard that, I was like, "Well, we're going full kaiju."
It's Godzilla now.
I'm gonna keep
No.
that in mind the next time I play through it.
That's amazing.
Just remember, Godzilla. Godzilla, won't
God.
you?
This makes me want to find that film. Someone made an art film where they played Godzilla versus some other kaiju, but he played every single part. Let's find that. I'll see if I can't throw that in the chat.
And it's one of those funny things because for him, he was taking a big swing, right? 'Cause I mean, it was clearly inspired by old kaiju movies, and so he submitted it kind of like, this is a unique direction, but is it okay?
I don't know if you'll like this sort of thing. It
And,
sounds like.
yeah, and then I heard it, and I was like, yes. But then I submitted it to Konami as like, he did a thing. I don't know if you guys are gonna like it, and they were like, yes. So, just one of those.
Everyone involved is
No-brainers.
sheepish that someone else won't get it.
Yeah.
Right.
It turns out everyone likes Godzilla. Who knew?
Yes, I found it. All right, it's going in. It's going in general.
Thank you.
This is the film Gojira versus Mito Komo.
So, you guys remember Blinky's Crust?
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
not a lot of bosses. Maybe there's 3 bosses.
Yeah.
I think it's 2, actually. Just the mask
Great.
lady and the death. Well, and Dracula, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, think Mask Lady. So, projectiles fall down from Mask Lady and then they split into pieces. That's just a thing.
I see.
It seems relevant. It seems relevant.
I was
And,
actually going to
so-
ask. This character's name is Valifor, if memory serves.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask, like, who did Valifor sleep with at the company that they wind up in just everything that Bloodstained has? It seems like Valifor is
Cool
well
looking
liked.
boss.
All right,
It's
all
so
right.
cool looking.
First of all, I don't think he needed to sleep with anyone at the company because, look at that sexy skeleton right there. He just has to imply that he's willing to sleep with you, and you do whatever he says.
I've eaten out of the palm of his hand.
He does have a face just like a smiling mask, just like
Yeah.
Carmilla.
I mean, he's a friendly
Exactly.
guy, not gonna lie.
Way to get hit by a coin.
It works for Mario.
No, he hits the coins. It's different.
Yeah,
I was always happy to see this guy come back because every one of his boss fights was really memorable. So
yeah, no, he's really cool.
Yeah, no, but I think he was in both Circles of the Moon and obviously the main game.
you were thinking of
and-
Curses of the Moon.
Excuse me? Moons got problems.
Only in the first one.
Moon haunted.
I just checked the total amount of
Ah.
lifetime money that I've spent on Steam.
Don't look at that.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Why would you
yourself.
do that?
Love yourself.
Yeah, make better choices, Cal.
You're a good man, Cali Scrub. You don't deserve to do that to yourself.
All right. I do want to say
Dogabop should have to
something.
look at that every day.
I do want to say
I
something
spent
about the
nothing
game
on
really quick.
Steam.
I love how the roulette wheel has the exact same physics as the spinning as the spinning platforms in Sky Sanctuary and Sonic and Knuckles.
Thanks. That was hard to figure out how to do that.
I believe it because like in 2D you can sort of cheat it. Like wherever you land, you just like, circle that area. But like in 3D you have to like actually like have like a sense of depth. The perspective here has screwed you over.
Yep. You figure it out for the smaller platforms throughout the level, and then you remember that the roulette wheel has to be the entire length of the screen. And,
Oh yeah.
and you have some discussions with the team.
Hadn't even thought
Everyone
about that,
involved has deep regrets.
The relationship between the smaller horizontal clock gears you climb around on throughout the stage, and then the big roulette wheel in the boss room.
Yeah.
It's funny that you didn't notice that because I was actually in first playing this game. That was one of the first things I noticed. Like, oh, this is cute. Just because in my previously mentioned favorite room, I played with the one gear, so I would get hit with those spikes. Because you are definitely watching a playthrough of, if you can believe it, somebody who actually remembers how to play this game. As I die yet again.
Does not speak well about how well you knew how to play it to begin with.
That's what I am saying, is that there may have been an awful lot of dead Dominiques in my original playthrough.
These were inspired by how I wish Mega Man mini platforms worked.
It should be like a Super Meat Boy where all your deaths just like stay on the screen.
When you've got more Dominic corpses than coins on the screens, like this boss automatically ends.
Like eventually you can just climb over the Dominic courses until like to get like to the boss's face faster.
Be a way to mitigate difficulty. Yeah.
God, that would be so demoralizing, I have to say. How'd you beat the boss? Well, I used all of my own corpses.
Well, look, Nintendo asks you. They're like, "Hey, you're not doing so hot. You want to use the thing?" And that's insulting. But what if your bodies were just there for me, natural platform?
Yeah, like when Nintendo does it, you're just sort of like, man, no, I didn't think I was doing that bad. This is diegetic.
Yeah.
It's a reference to that beloved Konami IP. Never did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Star of the E3 press conference.
And Gogglebub, you really lucked out with those coin placements. Now let's watch you squander it.
Now, this is the point in the chat where Tom says, "Oh yeah, we interpret if you die 1,000 times, you just get that really easy setup."
I guess it's worth sharing for people that don't know. Koji Igarashi's rule for boss difficulty in his games is that you have to be able to defeat the boss at level 1 with the starting equipment. If that's possible, then the boss is fair. So there were certain bosses that he didn't believe could be done without getting hit, and I had to prove it on very stressful Zoom calls.
Wow, I could not imagine that. Like
Imagine someone
literally
watching you play and needing to perform.
like I'm just imagining like every like COVID era meeting I had where, oh god damn it. But every
I
COVID
can't wait to see this.
every COVID era meeting I had where it was like, okay, we need to discuss what's going on in the company right now. And by the way, you're going to need to beat Battletoads while we're doing it. Just so you're aware.
Beautiful.
Like, I'm pretty sure that's how hell
During
works.
the entirety of this Zoom meeting, one man will be in the background attempting to beat Klinger Winger.
Oh man! Not
It's
even
like
Turbo Tunnel.
They get really pissed off at you and like, okay, boot up Double Dragon Battletoads, the ultimate team.
That's easier. I can say with certainty that is easier.
Oh,
Depends
God.
upon the part.
I remember my son like demanding we play that on Switch and me playing it for like 10 minutes and him being, why is it so bad?
Honestly, your son like recognizing it as bad is really impressive because when I was your son's age, I did not realize that at all. I just assumed I must be bad at it.
There are too many good games around nowadays. You don't
You
don't have to play the bad games.
That's true.
The children cry out.
That does like that does. There is the sadness of like not of it being much harder for especially children to reach a point where they can like appreciate a game that's weird. And that's just me trying to justify my love of Saga Frontier right now.
Ooh.
Beating that as a child, that game came out when I was a teenager, and I can safely say I can't even imagine doing that like as when I was young enough for Battletoads. Like that would just be like, I don't know, hurting. There we go.
Spoilers.
I was wanting to see what happened in real time.
This is why Twitch delay is so important. It lets us know when Gogglebob didn't screw up, and more importantly, lets us know when he did.
I could not disagree with this.
You won't understand this reference, Tom, but there was this game, I think it was Goemon or some ninja.
Why do you always think it's Goemon? It was Brave Fencer Musashi.
Whatever. Point is, Bob missed a jump and said, damn it. And I spent literally the next 30 seconds just screaming in joy about getting to see him screw up this jump.
The best part is that you could be referring to like at least 5 different instances during that playthrough.
Yeah, I'm having
because he kept
flashbacks.
screwing up the jump so badly.
There were
I just
gears
love that on a
involved
long enough
too.
timeline, every game that Bob plays just smooths out into Goemon on in Beat's
As far as
long-term
the
memory.
brain is concerned.
Which
His
ironically
brain-
we
his
have
brain has
never
room for
played.
2 games, and those games are Goemon and Xenogears.
Now, that's not
Goemon,
fair.
Xenogears,
I don't
No,
remember
No,
anything
Beat has
happening
room
in
for Jet Set
Xenogears.
Radio.
Oh yeah, Jet Set Radio.
There's also Tekken's Nina Williams and Death by Degrees.
Oh, obviously Tekken's Nina Williams and Death by Degrees. If we're not talking about Tekken's Nina Williams and Death by Degrees, what are we even doing?
Is that game on Steam?
It should
No,
be.
On some lore.
it has never been re-released.
Well,
No, that's so sad.
that's a sin and a shame.
That is. We're
All right.
sitting.
Okay,
I
so
always like to think about the worst possible game for like those formative experiences you would have as a kid, where it's just you and your a long weekend, your video game system, and like some
An
shitty rented
extremely
game.
ill-advised rental.
Yeah. It's like you've got 4. It's Thanksgiving. You've got 4 days with that piece of shit, and like
You will learn to love it or die trying.
At best, it's uncharted waters. At worst,
That
it
game
is.
owns.
That game
Predator.
whips ass. It's brutal as hell, but it whips ass. But
There's
then
no
you have to
Death
deal
by
with the pain
Degrees.
of loving a game that is so hard that no one else will ever love it. And the other end of the extreme, you have like Death by Degrees, starring Nita Williams, or The Bouncer.
It has never been re-released.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
It will
I saw-
remain on the PS2 forever.
I'm just imagining that being said over the like credits to Link to the Past.
So Tom,
Forever.
Hello.
all right. So Tom, I wanted to ask about like a
Please let Kishi finish first.
Well, as
Sorry,
long as,
Kishi.
as, long
No,
as
you
someone is
first.
asking Tom a question.
You
I'm
first,
pleased.
Kishi. You first.
Well, after you defeat the boss of a mansion, you of course have to walk all the way back out again, and then of course they're designed around that. But I was just wondering if that was a conversation during development, if that was important to the authenticity of the recreation.
Yeah, it was important to the authenticity, but again, in Blimpy's Crust, you walk in, you find an orb, and you walk out. So the bosses were the first part of making that a little more engaging, and then we just thought by interesting level design, we could A, usually teach you how to use the power you got, and B, just make the level more interesting.
Brilliant.
And then in the next level, we got to do that. That was a really good pit death.
Thank you.
That was a great hit.
In the,
Fantastic. A+.
in the next mansion, we got to do what I just said twice.
Oh,
All
true.
right.
It does. like the concept of having like levels that are designed to be specifically traversed backwards and forwards with slightly different move sets reminds me of that game from the unrelated franchise with the upside down bit.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. The question I wanted to ask Tom was about the breakable walls, where like you can break the wall and get like a thing.
Walter.
I feel like maybe I'm totally off base here, but I feel like the attitude towards like environments in like games that use like 3D graphics is very different from the ones that use 2D graphics, and it's kind of cool to see like that tile-based style applied in a 3D game, even when it's in 2D like this. Was that a conversation at any point?
It was a lot of conversations to make it look and feel correct.
Beautiful.
And I think we should shout out to Gogglebob. It was nice to die so that he'd be in the same spot as where Kishi asked the question.
Yeah,
for both questions.
A consummate showman.
What? Thank you.
Gogglebob is nothing if not an absolute professional.
Gogglebob's not bad at video games. Gogglebob is good at presenting.
But since we have the detailed 3D graphics, you'll notice like those bricks are broken. There's bricks behind them because there has to be something behind them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so making that look correct, like a solid wall beforehand, with the camera changes and such, was at times very challenging. But there are also different walls where they look a little bit cracked versus solid. Some of them are like rocky outcroppings, other ones are bricks. And then we also they have to look right when you have the power up that lets you see that they're breakable. So there's a lot of considerations like that again, it was a lot of conversations. And fortunately with the team at Way Forward, they understand that we're going to do weird 2D gameplay things. So they're understanding when a director requests it. But sometimes it's still very, very challenging. And another thing, like all the way the enemies are layered against the background, you can walk up those steps and you layer in front of the platform. All of this is very precise trickery. And then if Dominique whips over a piece of solid rock, her whip draws on top of it, but if she was walking against it, it would draw on top of her. This is many games that I've worked on that are 3D but have to act 2D. So that's an ever-evolving thing, but
that's cool.
Sense. And when it's done well, the end level user doesn't even need to think about it.
Yeah, it all makes a sort of like intrinsic sense, like when done properly, where you don't even have to think about it. And I guess that's the goal. I would assume that's the goal.
Exactly. And I hate in most 3D 2D games, if you attack a wall, you clip through it, your weapon goes inside the wall, and nobody thinks twice. But it really bugs me. And then the fact that we have whip-based combat that people might have expectations for some reason, it was like we have to figure out a way to do this because it's going to feel wrong if we whip through the rock instead of over the rock.
I appreciate the extra effort.
Yeah, no, that's really cool.
The way lighting works in the background of this cave is very striking.
Yeah, like that needs to be said. This game is extremely pretty.
Shout outs to the environment team, who again had to make everything twice because there's a day and night version.
Yes.
So here's like a random question. I haven't played the original Bloodstained, and I think it's just titled Bloodstained, not the like
Ritual
NES styled.
Ritual of the Night.
Yeah, Ritual of the Night. Yeah, it's been a while since I played that one. I don't remember Dominique here having a ton of animations. Like maybe she walked into a room once. I don't think that was.
These are all new.
These are all custom. Okay, cool.
And for Classic 1, we also gave Miriam her whole moveset was new.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't even notice.
And in both
That was
cases,
like-
the poses are very, very NES.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. Like every time she jumps, her hair freezes in place, and that's kind of cool. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it took us a while to find a walk for Miriam in Classic 1 that felt correct. Because there's some walks are very iconic and people have expectations. For somehow with Dominique, I was like, okay, the same feeling behind Miriam's walk, but like she's like a boss bitch type character, and then
Very much so.
Yeah, like it works for her because it's like, oh yeah, obviously she would have this sort of like strut.
right.
It's clearly
So hers
strutting.
was a lot faster.
Yeah. I love how like there's so many like ways you can characterize a character just by like their like incidental animations. Like the
How
animations
someone
have
moves
to be
says a
there.
lot about them.
But like yeah, the way they move deliberately just speaks so much to it. And this game has that in spades, and I think that rules.
We crave the omu rice.
You know, that true sight, that's the thing that helps you see through lies, correct? Or is it finding
Yes.
secrets on the map? Or both?
Both.
Then there you go. I need this eventually.
I have true sight, Gogglebob. That's why every time you speak, I make fun of you.
Oh.
Because I know it has to be done.
Did you buy it from a mimic too?
No, I was born with it.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm awesome.
Gotta respect the hustle.
Beats lying, Beat just stole it from something.
But what? You'll never know.
It would be rude of me to reveal that to the others.
Obviously. Wait, the others? That's rude. I will be right back.
How did you hear that? You sound like you're shouting from the next house.
The level designer is very happy that they hid that above the person that mentions it. It's their
Very
favorite
good.
fake out. Yeah.
Well, if you try to whip there, then you just keep talking to her.
That's
True.
Sort of an obvious joke, but I appreciate that the sub-weapon that resembles the holy water from Limpy's crest is called the Unholy Fire. Very cute.
And also something you
And
buy
then-
from a demon.
Don't overcrack the code.
If you haven't seen him, he's seen.
you've heard us.
Gary went in here, but whatever.
How about those sort of wandering mid-bosses, like the Master Carpenter, that you just sort of encounter certain places? That's not
hunters.
something from Blimpy's Crest, so how did that come about?
How did that come about? Just a fun way to have extra stuff to do.
Fair enough.
They don't need to be.
Good
They don't need to be bosses, but they can be like harder enemies.
Yeah.
And then it gives us a chance to give you upgrades or things.
You have to say the one that's in, I think we'll be crossing it, but like the one marsh that's coming up that you encounter at night, he completely wrecked my everything the first time I was playing the game.
He's a great introduction to the concept of how they're very mean. I think those enemies are meaner than the bosses.
Okay, good. We're on the same page.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. Yeah, there's one that's not as mean, but 3 of them are very mean.
It does give you something extra to look out for when you're maybe crossing back across some land you've already covered.
Yeah, I want to say maybe, I don't know if it's what you're talking about, but I seem to recall like the werewolf was fairly easy. I mean,
no,
like
he's mean.
fairly as these things go.
So the werewolf, he was originally in Classic 1 as a. Let's see, what's the code for this guy? He's where you fight Frankenstein. You know Frankenstein? Not the monster. We're not talking about the monster. Frankenstein.
Ah,
the
yes.
NES.
You know Frankenstein? that guy.
And so the werewolf is the stand-in for Frankenstein, and he has a little buddy that jumps around and attacks you. There's different contexts where little buddy shows up on birds, and so the concept between the werewolf hunter in this game is is what if birds were bringing in an endless supply of little buddies for
Interesting.
Frankenstein?
They have that continuing relationship.
I like
Yeah.
the continual statement of calling them little buddies.
Little buddy.
Yeah.
What else would you call them?
I mean, fair.
When they're on birds, they're called little buddy riders.
All right.
Come in,
I actually want to ask about the stairs of all things really quick. I'm a big fan of like certain YouTube channels that like, you know, basically build custom cameras into games and show like how like, you know, the camera trickery that goes into making 3D look 2D and the like.
Don't look at the stairs.
Oh, well, no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Watching it like in motion here looks flawless. It looks like they're walking up the stairs and then they're walking above the stairs when they're on like the floor above it. So I guess I'm just asking is, are there separate tracks that like she moves along when she's like on the like platform above the stairs, which like has that little cutout to show where the stairs go up, or is it just like the way the models are drawn? I'm sorry if that came out completely incoherent. I'm very stupid.
It might just
I
be a
don't know what
flag that
second
says,
says.
okay, now she's behind and now she's in front.
Yeah.
No, it's
something
more
like that.
complicated than that. There's two stairs. There's front stairs and back stairs. I can say that. And sometimes characters aren't necessarily where it looks like they are.
Oh.
Mysterious world.
Yeah.
I know
that
that's
movie.
like getting super into the reads, like when it comes to like rendering order. So
How do stairs
I
work?
apologize.
Also, nobody look at Contra either in that whatever channel
Never.
it is.
Just don't look too closely.
we all are going to look very closely at Contra because we love Contra.
I named
Contra
you
makes it happen.
Contra.
Operation Galuga.
Here's a man.
Yes. He's going to wreck my life.
Tom, you directed Contra 4, right? That's
I produced it.
okay. Different roles. Could you maybe tell me what exactly is the difference between a director and a producer, if you don't mind?
Well, in this specific case, I was a producer at Konami. Oh no, you're in the poison.
Yeah.
Why would you do that, Bob?
Oh,
Took a bad
Producer
one.
at Konami, working with an outside team at Way Forward.
Yeah. So sorry. So I was at Konami and we hired Way Forward to create Contra 4. As a director at Way Forward, I'm director. So I guess in this case, the difference is on Contra 4, me and my co-producer Simon Lai pitched the game, decided the core details of it, like it's 2D and
Yeah, it was never
type-based
gonna
and
work.
stuff. We hired Way Forward to make it, and then we supervised the budget and deliveries and stuff like that. And then as a director at Way Forward, I'm still thinking up the concept of games and writing all the designs and managing the team to create it. If that makes sense.
So were you the one that named it Contra Dual Spirits?
I was. I've
Hooray!
named Contra 4, Contra Dual Spirits, Hardcore Uprising, and Contra Operation Galuga.
I so miss the era of video games when they had like references to the system they were on in the title. Every game being like whatever name of game 64. Like there were 63 games before it, and every game
Demon
like
Castle
having
Dracula Apocalypse.
and every
Wait.
game like having a name that like somehow like had an acronym that spelled out DS. We
I'm
lost
sorry about
something
that.
there.
Don't forget the random era of the 3DS where everything had like a dream drop distance type thing, where it's like,
Oh,
and
God,
you
yeah, that was
abbreviate
perfect.
it
Drop
as
Distance was
3D.
incredible, magnificent.
E3 2010, they revealed No More Heroes 2, Desperate Struggle.
Oh yeah.
And it was
Oh
clearly
yeah,
a
and
Wii game.
so many people were claiming it's a DS game. And I was like, are you people idiots? What's
How
wrong
would
with
that
you?
work? Look at
No,
it.
I feel for them. They were conditioned.
No, like I'm not
I'm
saying
convinced
that
it
like
was
they
an
weren't
intended
onto
joke.
something. I'm just saying, like, that was a brilliant joke by Suda. That's probably something he came up with. He's
Yeah, that
the
feels
sort
like
of
a
man who would
Suda
do
joke.
that.
I feel like there were a couple Switch games that referenced Switch in the title somewhere, but like definitely not as common as like the DS.
Yeah.
DS was
the-
like an entire like naming cottage industry.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
What's the mini
Advance
No More
Wars
Heroes
Dual
called?
Strike. What's that?
Travis strikes
What's
again.
the Travis Strikes Again? Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a whole level. There's a whole level in that uses the default models for Unreal, like the tutorial.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't doubt that Desperate Struggle was a joke on purpose. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd love not to go on this tangent too long, but I love Travis Strikes Again for just being a game so much about like making games and just like Suda's own like relationship with the games he's worked on, especially Shadows of the Damned.
Yeah. Okay, like back to the game Gogglebop's actually playing. I love that the Mad Butcher guy you were playing, like
Mad
when
Carpenter.
he Mad Carpenter.
Mr. Carpenter.
Okay. I love that like when he reached you, he wasn't sure like which direction to go, so he would just swap directions on every single frame.
He did a wiggle.
You might consider that a bug. I can't get enough of that. I love that. Like, it's good.
It's
You know, if you
important
can
to
put
have
a
wiggle.
wiggle in a video game, I think you should.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking
like
about the wiggle button in Wonder Boy.
it's like how in like Ocarina of Time, there are certain rooms where Link would just spin around 3 times before when the door was opening because the game wasn't sure where which pointer to look at or something like that. I don't remember the exact reason, but that's great.
What's important was Link was wiggling.
Yeah, Link was wiggling and
Oh,
spinning.
man. The wiggling.
Also, I'd like to point
That's
out
the jiggling.
the first time I beat that guy, I'd literally never been able to purchase anything from the shops yet, so I had no idea what ectoplasm was. And was just like, what did I just get from this guy? Somebody tell me.
You got ghost goo. That's what ectoplasm is. How do you not
Gave
know
you this
this?
plasm. Did you get to name the areas, Tom? Or
yeah,
was
I
it-
did, and I had not played Hades yet, so I did not know how much overlap.
I mean, there are only so many underworlds out there. Come on.
Yeah. It's very similar. I played Hades before this came out, but after I'd named them, and I was like, oh no.
I have done this by accident. I've
Oh,
set the wrong
no.
expectation and made it look like I was doing a reference.
Yep.
Right.
I forgot I had so little health.
Yeah, every time I see like Gogglebop break a breakable wall, I just appreciate so much how much effort goes into making a 3D game look like it has tiles. Like that's so fucking important. Apologies for the foul language. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry at all. Fuck you.
I'm looking at
That was a
this
quick turnaround.
and like this normally like the normal price for this is like $10, right?
I think so, yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking about like there's so much here. Like it just makes me wonder if there was ever like I'm not even sure if you could really bring this up, but like how controlled the scope for this had to be given how much is actually in here.
I don't know what I can say.
Yeah, I was yeah, that's a question that I'm not sure how much you can actually even say anyway.
Yeah, like we don't want to violate any like confidentiality contracts you may have signed, may or may not
Well-
have signed.
Classic Mode 1 was a stretch goal of the Kickstarter, I believe. But I don't think
Yeah.
Classic Mode 2 was in the original plan, was it?
No, and this was designed to be premium from the beginning. I guess that's worth saying. So it was supposed to be a meatier experience,
That adds
but
up.
but then also we didn't
That's
have any
correct.
control over the pricing. That was all 505. So
Right.
Naturally.
I'm glad it
That's
seems
correct.
like a deal.
Oh yeah, no, like given what is here, like I have seen, like I do not expect DLC of this size or quality at $10. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, like this is very impressive for $10. Normally when I think I'm dropping $10 on something, I'm thinking like maybe one level and like some cosmetics.
You might get like some sort of thing you can carry into the rest of the game that makes like a little difference to how you play it. But
Yeah, $10 does strike me as a sort of proof of concept game where it's kind of like, hey, remember this NES game you used to play? Well, here's like a level of it.
here's an idea.
So when everyone
Glimpse.
when everyone appreciates the size of Shadow of the Erd Tree, just remember we did it first.
That's right.
Or you could get like 2/3 of the way to the TMNT costumes in Street Fighter 6.
God.
When you're dealing with a third-party licensee, all bets are off.
I don't know if you know about fighting game DLC, Tom, but this stuff gets expensive.
You speak with the tone of someone who's been driven into the poorhouse.
Smash Brothers seemed reasonable.
I love the idea of
Smash
Uncle
Brothers
Bob
was
just like
reasonable.
taking out a mortgage against his home to buy Street Fighter 6 DLC.
What is it?
I purchased the Season 2 Ultimate Pass, and the next day you see me walking around wearing a barrel.
Ultimate Pass? Yeah.
Since
I'm just imagining you, fanboy, drinking out of like a bottle wrapped in a brown paper bag, and it's hilarious to me because you don't even drink.
He's
You were
wearing a
saying, Tom?
barrel. He's living in the gym from Ashta no Joe.
Yeah.
This is what the season pass has reduced him to.
That's a good.
You were saying,
step
Tom?
for him.
Oh, I was just going to ask that the DLC that always comes to mind. I think it was Dead or Alive 6. Was that the one that has like if you total up all their DLC, it comes to something like $200?
I mean, that was also the one where if you change a character's hair color, you have to buy the old hair color back.
What? You're shitting me. That can't be.
No.
I'm now imagining Bloodstained with like you change the character into the Shantae outfit, and then you have to buy regular Miriam again. like you go to the barber in the game, and it's like, like no,
Please
you
let
can't
Tom
have
finish,
that
I
back.
beg of you.
I hate how much like all of this sounds reasonable.
Please,
we're
please
discussing
let Tom
like,
finish. I'm begging you.
please stop.
You guys keep segueing back. It's really good. I was just gonna say, since we're not playing the main game, it's worth pointing out that the other premium DLC, the three different costumes, they all come with a weapon that is designed to change how you play the game.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah,
worth
that's
checking
good.
out. It's not.
I hadn't
just,
heard about that. I thought it was just
that-
cosmetic.
No. So Japanese Miriam has a Wagasa umbrella, which will block projectiles and can be held out in front of you like a chainsaw.
Cool.
The Magical Girl Miriam has a scepter, which uses the bullet ammo from the game, but it's a melee weapon, and if you hold it down, she will fire out Magical Girl projectiles like cats, stars, hearts.
Yeah.
That's a way to use the ammo because no one plays with the gun, but you can still use the ammo. But
Yeah.
melee weapon.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And then Succubus Miriam has a scythe, which uses Miriam's unusual whip animation, but it treats it like a greatsword. So instead of a very small hitbox the whip has, you have a giant swath of damage with the scythe at a pretty fast swing speed.
All right,
Sounds
so
really satisfying to use.
Yes.
you're back in like the town, right? This is a town area, but you're killing the enemies you originally could talk to now, right? Is that what's happening?
Under the Blood Moon, all
Under
of
the
the
Blood
townsfolk become homicidal.
And we are in
So-
limbo. The whole game's in limbo, so no one can really die.
Do they
permanently.
respawn, or are you just murdering the townsfolk who were lying
They're
to you
fine.
earlier?
They like it.
They're into it, yes.
Terrifying.
They're fainting. They're fainting.
They all go
They
back
are
to the nearest
returning to the
Pokemon
last
Center.
save point.
Yeah, the save point's right here in town. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, see, they're back. They're there. They're happy.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Velveeta.
they're there.
Austrian children thrive on it.
They have enough macaroni and cheese, and they're fine.
This is how we keep the Germans from falling back into fascism with processed cheese products beyond our imagining.
So which kind of mac and cheese do they have?
This
The
appears to
kind that
be.
disappoints Iga or no?
You
It appears there is
look through
it is a sort of cheese-filled
Oh, yeah.
pancake. So there's but one mac,
I
and it
still
is a
got
giant
stabbed.
pancake shape.
Terrifying.
The odyssey of Iga's excitement to find out more about macaroni and cheese was a beautiful part of the Bloodstained development cycle.
I need to know more about this. Please explain, because I have not heard
There's
of
just
this.
like
before.
there's great photos of him like seeing it and being like just sort of like, no, that wasn't the one I was thinking of.
Just a moment, I'll get it.
Yeah, Kishi will have this.
The folder of Iga collections. Oh, that was a good
I'm
test.
just thinking of, you said Kishi will have this, and now I'm thinking of like when Kishi like massively improved my ancient Let's Play of Sonic 3 and Knuckles by just like putting all these bespoke gifts in the thread. Kishi, that was
Kishi,
incredible. I'm so
Kishi
happy
is
about that.
Kishi is a pure gift machine.
Yes.
happy
Kishi
to
is
share.
one of the
Perfect
greatest.
machine of gift.
Kishi is one of the greatest giftsmiths of all time.
There you
Also,
go.
I feel like we should like make Giftsmith a part of the modern parlance. I feel like we have a responsibility. to
There
Kishi.
we go.
My favorite Kishi gift is the one of Beat playing Max from Streets of Rage 2 dying on top of a turkey.
Oh my god, this is a man driven to absolute despair by scrap-made mac and cheese.
And yeah, there are 2 different macaroni and cheese items in the released games.
Beautiful.
Incredible.
Okay, like just looking at these, the first one is. Are these both from the game?
Yes.
That's okay. The first one is like the foul pretender mac and cheese, and the second one is the perfect godlike mac and cheese.
Now, it all depends. It all depends how much you love that. How much you love that Kraft macaroni and cheese life.
Have to.
I had no
All right,
idea
like
about any of
if
this.
if the phrase starts with craft, we are already plumbing a dark place.
I feel like I brought in the wrong omiyage. This would have been a lot better.
Nah, you're good.
This would have been a lot better. Oh,
Oh, hey, Yuzu.
now that you're
Getting
walking
killed
away
during
from
a
the
blood
stream
moon
with
must feel
regrets, we've done our
incredible.
job.
Here's an enemy that wasn't. in the main
Yuzu
game.
has a
Hey, it's,
fascinating perspective on death during Blood Moon.
I assume that it's calling back to the discussion we had about that, but yeah, it's good to see this kind of enemy that uniquely hounds the strutting whip wielders of the world.
Yeah, it was originally planned for the main game, but they didn't have time to make it.
Oh,
It
interesting.
was fun to bring him back,
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of
as
which,
well as the next boss.
I was
Yeah.
about to say the next mansion boss was intended as my what random Wikipedia trivia somewhere and said that.
It turns out it wasn't lying for once.
It's like,
Yeah,
wait
all
a
the
minute.
bosses in Curse of the Moon are were meant to be from the main game. But then that guy didn't.
Oh, random question, Gogglebob, can you jump on stairs?
Yes.
He's not meaning in the game either. He wants to see you like set up a camera.
Like in real
I
life.
didn't know he was asking
Stairs.
about the game. I was just
Stairs.
answering
Jump on them.
immediately.
I'm
Up
sure there's
next,
stairs in Gogglebot to place
Impress me.
are there stairs in your house? This is not code. We need to know.
Like, set up a tripod and film yourself jumping on stairs.
I will provide a
This
GIF
is how
later of
you're
myself
going to
jumping
know
on
you've
stairs.
completely lost the audience is when we start giving you more and more challenges from the president's physical fitness test.
This is like the fanboy's favorite new Beavis and Butthead episode where the talking fire keeps giving Beavis things to do that are like go write an essay.
Go write an essay, walk a couple miles.
I had to join just to say jumping on stairs in real life is an extremely bad idea. Don't do it.
Thank you, Kate.
That's
Very considerate.
coward talk right there, Katniss.
Katniss's reward for spreading good advice in the world is that there gets to be a Tetris the Grandmaster for.
And the NES version's going to come up here soon.
Yeah. It's like Christmas. Wait, shit.
Well, last Christmas, I gave you my heart. The very next day.
It disappeared because you put it inside of like a Tetris wall.
That is true. I did that.
Should have known better.
You know what happened the very next day? No, I don't either. I was at a Benadryl fugue.
The man who worries just a
Fucked up that you would say that right as I finished my beer.
They fought down the
It's
dustbin.
just you and the Hat Man in there, man.
I hate the Hat Man. Despise that guy. Despise the
Why?
Hat Man. Why wouldn't I hate the Hat Man?
Why
Fair
did you
point.
ignore the treasure chest?
People say the Hat Man did nothing wrong. I disagree.
You know
Didn't
what?
even see
Fuck
it.
the Hat Man.
See,
He's just
finally,
been stomping
somebody gets
around.
it.
He's just been stomping around in our drug hazes,
Yeah, yeah. There it is.
unchallenged for too long.
See what you've done.
I
All right,
got
so
wondering.
I already mentioned how much I love the backgrounds in this, but I also really like the entire like Colosseum, Greece aesthetic here. It's really cool.
This background unintentionally reminds me of the game over screen from Sympathy for the Knights.
Ah, yes.
So
That,
You know,
that's 100% coincidental, but once you notice it, you're like, well, I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Why would you?
Let us
Yeah.
go out the evening for pleasure.
The night is still young.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, you know, as tradition demands, I'm not actually watching the stream, so I'm imagining that this greased aesthetic is like the Broadway musical, like the Pink Ladies, and you know, greased lightning, greased lightning.
Congratulations, AV. That's exactly what's happening. You guessed it perfectly.
I knew it.
Just John
Also,
Travolta
like,
gyrating
Gogglebob
in the
is-
background.
Gogglebob is playing as, I think her name is Rizzo. It's beautiful.
The Rat Muppet?
I haven't seen Grease in years. I don't know.
I
Isn't
feel
it
like Muppet Grease would probably have an audience.
Oh,
Muppet Grease would kill. People would love Muppet Grease.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're all on Blue Sky. That is an addressable market of people between the ages of 38 and 45 years old.
One
Wow.
sub pocket of millennial.
I'm feeling very called out right now, and it sucks.
It's the ordeal of being no.
I wasn't meant to be
Mortifying
perceived
ordeal.
like this.
How dare
So
you?
Gogglebob
observe
is
me.
taking the canon order here and
Oh.
going where he's supposed to go.
We're all proud of him for that.
But
Very
it's,
considerate.
it's important to note you can skip ahead and keep going to the next town and go to the rest of the game because that was important to me because my first time playing Limpy's Crust, I skipped a couple mansions and ended up with the Flame Whip way early, and I wanted to preserve that as a potential experience for this game.
I was just thinking that, like, oh yeah, because you could in Limpy's Crust, you could actually do things out of order if you just sort of wandered in the wrong direction. So,
And didn't
Yeah,
mind
I'm-
tanking a swamp.
I mean,
Yeah.
given everything else you had to do in that and the prior castle, castle game, I mean, you know,
I mean,
Ah, yes, Castlegamia, one of our favorite series.
Castlegamia.
Yeah, we all love Castlegamia. Not sure why you would say anything else.
yeah, I do have to say, Tom earlier mentioned the rule about having to be able to beat a boss on level 1 or etc. But I
Yeah.
definitely,
no hit.
yeah, definitely playing Blimpy's Quest as a child an awful lot. I think trained me to just play video games and just get hit a lot. And like, of course I'm supposed to lose 75% of my health walking over here. There's no way to stop that. Like, that is how I thought video games were supposed to be.
So
I
this
ram my face
explains
into
a
things,
lot.
and whichever one of us has less of the will to live will ultimately fail.
That is exactly how it works.
Ease
No
games
question.
here.
No, I have reached Zen, and I understand the essence of bumping combat.
Ah, yes.
I love
Bumping combat.
you and Adol. You're just there together, forever
Listen.
bumping.
Listen, one day me and Kishi will see each other again, and we will like engage in bumping combat because we have both mastered it.
The only way to establish the pecking order.
It will sadly kill us both.
Well, like just someone watching it. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Bump one last time and both die.
You can't have the same health bar. That just would be too much of a coincidence.
No, it wouldn't. It would be prophetic.
It just indicates we're at similar levels.
Yeah. I feel like both Kishi and Fanboy have exactly 75 HP. I will not elaborate on this.
Interesting. So we can talk about it. This mansion is unique in that, depending on when you come in, it might be full of sand or full of water.
Yeah, it looks like a desert dungeon, but if you have True Sight, it's actually a water dungeon.
Oh, it's the
that's
True
cool.
Sight that does that. Because
The
I
layout changes somewhat drastically.
it changes drastically, but
It's
I
incredibly cool.
when I played this game, I beat this dungeon, and then did not come back until like the sort of end of game wrap up of trying to find everything, and basically my reaction was, wait a minute, no, this was.
What happened here?
Like, was it because I came here at night? Like, I literally did not know what I had done that, if anything, like, maybe just the level was beaten and now it changed. But
For
on my
me, it
return
wasn't
trip,
until
I
my
had
second
no idea.
I love
It's True
the.
Sight. So you'll defeat the boss, and then if it's water, you'll fall into the water and you can swim, and then your trip back is much different in that case.
That is
It's
cool
so great
as hell.
to
I
get
really
those.
like that.
There's so few things that we get nowadays where like something mysterious happens in a game and it just doesn't. It chooses not to explain itself.
Yeah, it's refreshing.
I think the last instance of that I can think of off the top of my head was the glitch levels in Super Meat Boy, which that was like 15 years ago now.
Man.
Yeah, about 2010.
Yeah,
I love that.
I had
Wow.
a similar
It's great.
situation in Axiom Verge. I want to say 1. I don't think it happened again in 2. But some of the, as you said, glitch levels makes me immediately think like a very much a feeling in a lot of Axiom Verge of, am I supposed to be here? Like, is this right, or did
Is
the
this
game
what's
just
going
break?
on? No, I get you. Yeah. No,
Something that defies attempts to like use traditional metagaming like logic to try to determine whether I should quote unquote be here, and allows
Yeah,
you to just
no.
sort of approach the game as a world.
Yeah. There was a 100% run of Super Meat Boy on GDQ years and years ago now. I don't even know how long ago this would have been, but they had the actual devs on for the call, just on Skype or whatever while they were doing the run.
What a weird thing
And-
to do.
I know, right? So strange.
Oh my god.
Can't
Mitsubishi.
imagine doing that in this current year of 2024.
Mitsubishi was scammed out of $90 million by a shady copper trader. The Ian Nasir meme lives eternal.
That's hilarious. But no, what I was saying was the entire idea that what they were going for when they made that was, oh, maybe this will become a stupid urban legend where one guy will say, oh no, it totally happened, and none of his friends will believe him, and instead it's part of the 100% run. The world changed since 1992.
I mean, I've always heard that was the explanation for the really rare drops in Earthbound, which makes absolute sense in just thinking about playing that game and playing similar games as a child, because there were definitely... Mortal Kombat was a big one in my friend group, where it was kind of like, oh, I activated this fatality that nobody knows about, and you could be lying, or you could be describing exactly what a babality was before anybody knew about it.
Yeah, we lost something when the internet's made information immediately available, and you couldn't just tell outlandish lies anymore.
You kind
Wait,
of can
that's
as long
coming
as
back,
now, as
though.
long as your game is very deep enough in the depths of like Steam or whatever.
Yeah.
Search engines have become so bad that era is coming back.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
degrading.
yeah. Time is a flat
Yay.
circle, turns out.
Game over. Return of return of I don't know what's going on and I don't know if it's intentional or not.
I'm just picturing like AI answers that are like, yes, you can turn into Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 1. Just press these buttons.
Yes, you can
If it-
morph into Kano.
If it doesn't work, you're doing it wrong.
Maybe
I
if you
want-
sucked
You must
less.
defeat Shang Long to stand a chance.
I would laugh so much at a fucking like quote unquote AI that just spat out like fucking my uncle works at Nintendo rumors all the time.
That
Oh
would
my
be so
God, yeah.
beautiful.
This totally works, we swear.
Yeah, I
love
was
it.
playing the beta of Secret of Mana 2.
It's big in Japan.
I was looking. God, I was.
They're
I
not
was
allowed
looking
to
at
talk
the,
about it though.
I was looking at the Ogopogo Observer, and was
Oh.
reminded that they explained away the bug that can obliterate your save file in Final Fantasy IV on the Super Nintendo with the 8 squared curse that comes from Zeromus observing your every move.
Damn it.
And if you stay in one place and walk and haven't entered the world map after 64 like room transitions, he might destroy you. And two, that they were very upfront about the fact of like, yeah, we're bringing over Final Fantasy V. We will be calling it Final Fantasy III.
That's beautiful.
Oh, they didn't even go
here
with
it is.
extreme.
Here I found the archive.org with the Ogopogo Examiner. Now all
Yeah,
made
it
up.
has all of them.
Oh my goodness.
What was I trying to think of? Oh,
Do you remember? Do you
it was
remember?
the Sonic 3 instruction
enjoying
manual where it
things?
just said, sometimes Eggman's traps will get you in walls, so you better reset.
And also, Tails shouldn't be alone in ice cap zones.
The famous phrase Dr. Robotnik's diabolical traps.
Yeah, exactly. So good.
I prefer his mean bean machine.
His meanest beanest.
Do not be meanest to my Venus.
I'm gonna be. Can't stop me.
I do not like the phrase.
We have so few rules
I
here.
feel like we, I
I'm a
should not-
Venus.
I feel like we have a special guest tonight, and I shouldn't be like on my worst behavior, but I still am.
I've been on my best behavior, and this is causing like immediate and savage like
Psychic
harm to
damage.
my quality of life. Like I'm just sitting here like I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be nice in this chat. I'm not gonna go into like humongous non sequiturs that go nowhere. And I'm just in suffering here. I am. I am ready.
This is your weekly release valve for non sequiturs, and we're limiting it.
Yes, I am ready to go find a mountain, a mountain
thing.
somewhere, and just sit under a fucking waterfall.
So here's our cut boss.
I'm appreciating Yuzu's statement in the chat. I'm more of a nice rice device girl.
Damn.
Quality.
So if you haven't fought this guy in the water version, you always think there's quicksand?
That's it.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I never did fight this guy in the water version, so I just
Yeah,
thought it
that's
was
just-
like a weird
It's a
dichotomy
weird tortoise.
of you're
just
fighting
a
the
bit of
water
water.
guy in
Yeah.
a desert area.
It was an interesting. So if that's water, that's obviously more dangerous. So it was a fun if you bought the item early, you kind of screwed yourself idea.
You played yourself.
Put a quarter in your ass because you've played yourself.
I love that I just
Here.
got killed by that.
Quote. Perfect line.
One of the all-time great lines.
Yeah, I want to say this is one of the few bosses that I had absolutely zero trouble with on my first playthrough. Like,
Well, that's really strange because I just watched you die and it was embarrassing.
it's harder
Wasn't
on
this
the stream. Trying to
Also
maintain
in
conversations.
Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, as we were saying before, all the bosses in Curse of the Moon 1 are from the main game, Ritual of the Night, although Curse of the Moon was released earlier. Except for this boss, who was mysteriously missing in Ritual of the Night until now.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Oh my god. I am just putting that together now.
Yeah, my understanding is originally this guy was supposed to give you the water ability, but it got just randomly allocated to fish in his absence.
You know, the realities of development.
There's a lot that goes on in the development of any video game. Honestly, it's a miracle that like any video game exists at all. Like every time I look,
100% agreed.
Every time I look, it's like the development of any game I like. I'm like, oh my god, this sounds miserable. It's kind of a miracle that it's even here, but I can enjoy it.
It can only come from the raw passion of those who care enough to make them happen.
Yeah, like video games are kind of a miracle when you come right down to it.
Yeah.
Thank you for making miracles, Tom.
It's a miracle.
In this case, it's really cool that Tom was able to, Tom and company were able to sort of salvage this boss.
I'm just thinking of a GIF from decades ago that was just the old Konami logo with Tom underneath.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I remember that.
That was a good one.
Kind of GIF master would have made that.
Who could have done this?
I thought we were saying using GIFsmith now.
Yeah,
GIFsmith. That's the one.
We're still getting used to the nomenclature.
Yeah,
I love I still love the Foxhound Fox with the bullets.
Oh yeah,
going hot cha 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 cha.
I love the Foxhound Fox just as a perfect logo, perfect bit of iconography.
You know, a universe in which that was an actual military logo would be. It's like that's a military. I'd be proud to. That's military. I'd be proud to salute.
That's the like if they were carrying that flag around, I would salute that flag.
I would salute that flag. You know, get away from this Punisher bullshit. It's like no, we have a scandalous, not scandalous. We have like a scamp, an adorable scamp of a fox man shooting a boomerang bullet. Oh, I love Big Daddy Kane so much.
Put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself.
I love that he named an album "Daddy's Home." The cover is just like him in like a really cozy looking robe drinking coffee.
Hell yeah!
It's like, oh, that's the rawest shit imaginable.
That is the confidence that comes with knowing that you can just do whatever.
Man shows up at your house is like, Daddy's home, and he like puts on a robe and starts drinking coffee, and it's like, I can't recover from this.
Get me a newspaper.
There's no coming back.
Daddy is home. I gotta get this man a newspaper and some slippers.
He just gets to sit in the recliner now, I guess.
That's his recliner now. It's not your recliner anymore.
Why would you have that chair for any other reason?
Oh man, he gets the big steak at dinner.
He just came back from work.
Yep, that happened. I saw that coming. Dominique gets hit in the head.
I'm on like a 15-second delay, and I still feel like I could have beaten this boss 5 times by now.
I maintain everything is harder on stream.
Well, that can't be true because
good night, everybody.
I've played games on stream,
Good night.
and every time I do it, I'm awesome and perfect. Everybody loves me.
That does sound right. I really can't argue with that.
Every time I've played a video game on stream, like, all of you need to like just resist the urge to kiss me because I'm married and I'm not interested.
This coming from the man who used to so often threaten to make out on the roof for 8 hours.
That was a long time ago. I'm a different person now.
When did the spark go?
2015, when I found the love of my life.
Oh, God, Tetris Attack. Jesus. Oh, we're getting deep into the old talking time jokes. I don't think Coco Bob was around when that happened.
I am aware of it, but I was not there for it.
What was the one that like? I'm a little bit drunk right now. You got to run it past me again.
Someone just brought up like playing Tetris Attack with their wife. And
Oh my God.
It's like, is that a euphemism for fucking?
Yes. Obviously. How could it be anything else?
I knew that of being part of the deep lore, but I was not there for the event.
Disgusting. I think the first time I was aware of you posting something was when you like wrote 3,000 words when I asked, "Hey, someone tell me who Ansem is," in response to Kingdom Hearts.
Legitimately, I lurked on those forums for ages. It's just a matter of I didn't really have much to say. And I'm not exaggerating that night, what it was, the entire source of the Kingdom Hearts posts was I had literally, it was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I had to clean this one room in my house that I was pretty much ignoring for months. And so I, like, gave myself, like, coffee and was like, I'm just going to check the internet real fast. And then I'm going to get to the cleaning that I told myself I'm going to do. And then you asked, who is Anselm? And I'm like, I'm going to type up a quick forum post to explain Kingdom Hearts. And I was basically
I believe it was at least 1,000 words.
Yeah, and I was
Maybe 2.
dosed on coffee and just trying to avoid doing other work.
Beat assing that like is the first domino that ends with this very stream.
Yeah, and then that led to the Kingdom Hearts post. That then led to the website. The website more or less led to the streaming, and here we are. Thank you for joining us.
I remember
Tom.
like reading your website way back in the day, and you were like, "How'd this website start?" And then I saw my name and was like, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah, well, I mean,
I did that.
The website started for the purpose of, like, I'm old school internet, by which I mean that I am used to any given forum or website not existing on a Tuesday. Like, I had 3,000 posts on some random RPG-based site, and then it no longer exists because the owner, like, got a girlfriend or something. So I had...
And/or got in a fight with their girlfriend.
yeah, whatever. And so I had literally no doubt in my mind that, you know, the forum we were posting on would just randomly stop existing one day. So I'm like, I'll make my own website with these posts that I'm proud of. And then I'm like, well, I should put something on the website that updates so people have a reason to come back. And so I just started writing about video games for basically that reason. And now it's like 700 posts later. I know I'm at literally...
Everybody,
deeply regretted post.
I have to go now, everybody.
This was
well,
delightful.
thank you very much for
Thank you
being
so
here.
much. We're very appreciative of you.
Been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for the invite, Gogglebob.
Yes, and if you've got any other games you want to talk about, just feel free.
I'd love to hear about Operation Gluga or Spider Swords or anything else.
Also, we do this every
around.
Tuesday, and like on any given Tuesday, if you just want to come in and say hi, we'll be here.
Yes.
Right. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys to play my games, but if you are playing my games, you can just ask. I'll be around.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we don't have to do it, like, immediately, but yeah, definitely I would put Galuga on the list, because that's a game I sunk way too many hours into.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan one day eventually. Oh, there's that GIF. How did that
There's
GIF?
the Oh, yeah.
Thank God.
Ishi not only tracked it down from, but probably found out who made it. So,
Who could it be?
All right, well,
thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
It was fun.
And have a
Thank you
good
so
night.
much, Tom. It's
Yep, you
absolute
guys too.
pleasure having you.
And we're still here.
We are still here.
Unfortunately.
What are we looking at? Oh yeah, it is 11 o'clock, so I guess we'll wrap up here.
I'm
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna kick in the
The counter programming.
The
Yeah, I mean,
counter
Thank you
programming.
for having a sense of propriety, Mr. Scrub.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna call the stream here for the evening. So, thank you everyone who's been here. Kishi, you're always welcome, obviously as well.
Obviously.
Thank you.
We do occasionally play good games that I think are up to your standards.
Untrue.
This is one
We
of them.
play terrible games.
Case
You know
in
what he
point.
has been subjecting us to for the last 18 years, Keisha?
What is that?
The fucking Mana series.
Which we'll get back to next week.
What game are you on?
Damn.
I think it's the Trials remake at this point.
No,
It's
we still have to make it through the
all
Final
so
Fantasy
miserable,
Adventure remake.
Kishi. We all just end
Oh,
up just
come on,
screaming at
man.
him, please,
Wait,
please
what order did you
stop.
go
And
in?
he never does.
It's
It's
been released
awful.
order.
He keeps torturing us.
Oh,
Helps
no.
us.
It's been release order. We've done Dawn of Mana. We've done the RTS. We've done.
Yeah,
so
we
many
did
of these.
Heroes of Mana, and just because everyone I knew would have such a problem with that, we simultaneously streamed The Legend of Zelda: A Link of the Past.
It was so much better. It
Are you
was
having fun?
it was great.
Now
Yeah,
you
Kishi
it's
is
a really
asking an
good-
important
good
question, Goggles.
Bob
What
was
was the
asking.
question?
Are you having fun?
I'm having fun. Yes, I like the Mana games.
Oh,
Well,
all of
that's
them?
that speaks terribly
I mean,
ill of your soul.
Heroes of Mana
What-
kind of
what-
happened. and
Genuinely
What was
polite
the-
curiosity.
Dawn of Mana was a thing.
What was the game where you were in that green dungeon for
Dawn
like,
of Mana.
That was
Dawn of
Dawn.
Mana.
years?
That was Dawn of
And
Mana.
yes, Dawn of Mana was definitely like, I thought replaying that I would say, oh, this is giving me the impetus to try this again as an adult. And like, no, not at all.
You give
No,
Kelly
it's an
Scrub
empty
nightmares.
vessel of a game.
Dawn of Mana, I played 2 whole levels and I just ejected that from the IPS2, never to be
Gave up.
seen again.
Fired it into the sun.
Yeah.
At
Where
least
it
there was that.
belongs.
In another
I even
10 years, I'll
I
think
even kept my agony to a minimum.
Great job, Callie Shrub.
Well, I'm sorry I missed the 2 good games in the series.
I mean, hey, we
What would
are
you
getting
say
back
to
to
the-
the
what would
trials
you say to
remake.
the-
Which
eventually.
one are
series.
those two? I'm curious.
Yeah, what are the 2 good games per Kishi rules? I'm worried about this as well.
You know, actually, the first one's alright. I'll say 3 good games.
Oh, damn. All right.
Final
all
Fantasy
right.
Adventure, Seiken Densetsu 3, and Legend of Mana.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Sure. I'll give you that one.
Yeah,
Wait,
those
which one?
are the most acceptable.
Wait, Final Fantasy Adventure, and what were the other 2? Fuck!
Trials of Mana and Legend of Mana.
Damn, Secret of Mana doesn't make the cut.
Oh,
No,
it's
it
a
does
terrible
not.
game.
It's terrible.
Garbage.
Does not.
We actually had this discussion in the Discord today.
I'm sorry Nintendo Power lied to you.
Yeah. Well, Nintendo Power always lied. That was never a surprise.
That was never a surprise. They said you could use Crash Man on Heat Man, and I
Oh.
never
That
trusted
was
them
in
again.
fact Lester using.
Oh, Callie Scrub, someone in chat noticed you. They recognized you by your laugh.
It's a distinctive.
Is that a callback? Is that a callback to what happened in fucking when my coworker fucking doxed me?
A distinctive and delightful laugh.
All right, now we're going to officially wrap up for the night.
Yay!
We got Mana discussion in.
Thank goodness.
Very
Ne-
important.
Next week we'll be returning to
No,
Final Fantasy Adventure.
Next week we have to play the completely soulless Mana, like the completely soulless Final Fantasy Adventure remake.
All right. Before we stop, Kishi, I just want to say it's an absolute joy having you on. And
Thank
anytime you want to pop in, we welcome it.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you so
I
much.
believe Kishi has gone on record as saying they only come in for good games, so it's going to be a while.
I remember when I told you that Gogbob was playing Xenogears, and you just responded, "Jesus Christ," and I was like, "Yeah, that's the only appropriate response."
And then Kishi joined us for like 15 weeks.
Yeah, it was delightful. We got
it
so
was
much
wonderful.
Kishi
We were
time.
all very happy to have you.
The mole's a ball. Wait.
Until next time.
All right.
We'll see you then.
Have a good night, everybody.